said, my name is Yana Henderson. Oh yeah, there you go. Originally from Hana, Maui, but currently residing in Laie, and I work out at UH West Oahu, so in Kapolei. I'm excited for you folks to go up to Ka'ala Farms. We finished that hale last year, I believe, or this year? Last year, yeah. Last year. I'm a haumana under my kumu, Francis Polani Sanensi. He's my mom's first cousin. My sister Kara, or Nalani, is my alakai. And there's about 40 of us statewide, across the islands of Hawaii, not a state, that build hale. So we'll start maybe with last year, around May. My sister dances for Kau'i Kanakaole, who's from Hana. Her dad is Parley, Janice and Kanakaole, and his mom is Edith, and his sisters are Nalani and Pua. So my sister, their halau and Auntie Kekui's halau combined for last year's Wednesday night for a Merry Monarch, and so that's the reason why I had gone up to support my sister, and just so happened also to support my brother Jojo while he was up on Mauna Kea. Our original intentions when we went up there was to build a hale for our one of our ohana Uncle Robert, Keli Ho'omalu, his wife Auntie G Girl, and my mom are first cousins, also from Hana. And when we went, our plans changed a little bit because my brother Jojo, while we were up there on Mauna Kea, said, why don't we build one up here? So he talked to Brother Mikey and Nanakila and Ko'okahi and Shucks Hualalai, just talking a story about what it would mean to build a hale on Mauna Kea. As we were kind of talking about it, we were going back and forth from Kaimu and back up. So on that Friday, my sister and I and a couple of the brothers, Jojo them, already had the wood because it was supposed to be for Uncle Robert's grave. However, we were able to get it to go up on to Mauna Kea, but still had to do all the carving. So I brought a couple of I just brought a couple of wood pieces to show you folks a couple of the carvings that happens on the hale. So for the posts, what my sister did, she carved all of the posts that day. I had to go and get everything ready, pick it all out, knowing the materials and the how much po, how much oa, how much ahupueo, getting everything down for the parts of what the hale would make. But a very interesting thing that I think about hale is, for hale, there's three things that we need. We need food and water, we need transportation, and we need shelter. If we don't have those things, then we won't survive, yeah? So being a hale builder with my kumu, I think it's a beautiful way to be able to show us all how to survive. The function currently with hale, nobody's really living in it. However, my uncle did write the code that the state follows for how a hale is to be built, Uncle Francis Sanensi, and he's the only certifier of people to certify people to build. Anyway, so that day my sister had carved everything, Kara, and this here is what would be at the top of a post. It's actually called a ule, so the reproductive organ of a kane, and on the oa, or the rafter, is a kohe, which is the reproductive organ of a wahine. And as they fit together, just like this, these carvings are what's gonna hold together a hale. So that day, on that Friday, all of these were done. The boys went out and got a little bit more because we needed some for our purlins, and then also for the floating subroof of which we were gonna thatch onto. And within that day, loading it all up, and we went up that night. I don't know if any of you folks were there. Maybe seemed to me that there was at least 100 people, but that could have just also been kupuna, which I could see or not, I don't know. But I think the experience that we had that night was just so amazing because we were offloading a cousins Meo and I think it was Prince. I don't know which one. There's like 12 kili homalusaurus. Guys, so I don't know which cousin it was that was his truck, but as we were offloading it, you know, from my sister, she was at the beginning and I was at the end. And it's very interesting, once you carve a post, that post is now our kupuna. This doesn't touch the ground. Of course, for you know, common sense reasons, if this carving part is touching the ground, then you know it could break. Very fragile. You've already measured it out. It could, you know, once it breaks, then you're gonna have to get something else. But then also, because if you just think of the reproduction, right? Reproduction of knowledge, reproduction of safety, these things also become our kupuna with what is gonna protect us within what a hale is. So it was really beautiful because as it was all coming up, everyone just started kumama ku. It's all coming up to me. I had laid a couple pieces of wood down so that these were laying down on a piece of wood, not touching the ground. And I think the most beautiful thing that happened was as I looked up, all I see was the spotlight and all of our shadows right into the beautiful, you know, dark sky. Just so gorgeous. Really felt our kupuna there that day. And then that night we circled up, had a little hui with everybody, just talking about the functions. So as hale builders, we don't, well, we try not to build hale that's just gonna be in a museum to look at. They have to have a function. There's no function, there's no junction, right? So the function that my sister and I had kind of thought of as we were going through the process was more of a hale pule, or a place to where you can go and, you know, especially my brother. I don't know if any of you knew Jojo before, but Jojo before was a very hot-headed boy, very full of fire. He's very smart, but full of fire. And so I think the way that the mauna helped my brother to be able to look at things in a different way, to be able to stay calm, I think that was a part of our process of thinking, oh, how can we help our kane to be able to have a place to have a pule, to be able to let go, and then continue on being aloha aina warriors, and to stay with kapualo. So that was our intent. A few of the kane really wanted to plant the posts, and I don't know if you know, but the hale up there isn't planted. So I went to, when we were on our way up, we went and I bought, you know, I spent like $150 at Home Depot, got the screws to put into the buckets of how we placed everything. And then when we went up, I'd only done that once before. We had done a presentation at Bishop Museum that then went to Whipsy, and now that hale is resting at Paipai Oheia. But it was very interesting because those was like the big, huge, you know, drums. And this was just orange buckets. So I was like, oh please, I hope this works. But the intent was never for that hale to be up there for a long time. The intent was a temporary community building, you know, place to be able to go and clear your mind and open your heart and your soul. So the next day we got up early and we were able to just get started. And I think it was such a beautiful experience because, you know, had me and my sister, Uncle Billy couldn't really kako us. He's also a hale builder with us, but his poor hands were just shredded from being up there on Mauna Kea. His face, everything was just so burnt, and you know. So, anyways, he was there with us. But you know, to have my sister be, she is my leader. She's my alakai for our halau. But you know, to be there, look at each other, know what we gotta do because we've done it many times before, and then just, you know, slowly help other people learn. That hale came up within, so that day was the carving. That usually would take weeks, happened in one day. Next day was erecting the main frame and subframe. That would also take a long time. And then the next day after that was thatching. I couldn't be there that day, I had to come back to work, but my sister stayed. And then Uncle Billy was able to finish it with all of his rock work. So I just, since this is Aloha Aina, you know, day and education, I just really wanted to express my gratitude to my Uncle Francis for teaching me and for continuing to like have faith in us. Like especially as wahine, there's 5 of us wahine and 40 kane in our, 35 kane. So there's 40 of us total, and we're kind of the minority. But you know, I think what we bring is just a different way to look at things. My sister and I just recently went down to Aotearoa and kind of presented about being wahine builders and why that's different at this Pacific Arts Alliance symposium. And the main thing I think that I've learned within my, you know, haumana-ship of being in halau hale kui kui has been really that it takes a community to build a hale. And within building that hale, you're building yourself and you're strengthening your community. So I think you guys are probably gonna have to leave